So today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make polytetrafluoroethylene. To begin, you need a centrifuge. A centrifuge that is, of course, being powered. So now we have a centrifuge. So, you are going to need oil sands ore. You are going to need 18 for one recipe and 27 for the other. You need a distillery. You will need 13.5 buckets and an integrated circuit of 0. And then this will give you sulfuric gas. And then for the next one, you are going to need 9 buckets of oil, a distillery, and you are going to need an integrated circuit of 1, and this will produce sulfuric naphtha. Now, this is where the fun begins. You are going to need a chemical reactor. So now we have a chemical reactor. Now all we need is hydrogen. We need empty cells. There we go. So as you guys can see, with the 7 buckets of the sulfuric naphtha, we are going to get 7 buckets of naphtha and 2 cells of hydrogen sulfide. Alright? And that's why you need 7 buckets, because of this recipe. It has to be done 7 buckets at a time. And you are going to need 3 cells for the recipe. But of course you have 7 to play around with, so you can do the recipe twice. Now the sulfuric gas is going to be pumped inside of a chemical reactor. And this is where you need hydrogen and an empty cell. So as you can see, that is now going to make another type of liquid called refinery gas. Now refinery gas, and again you need 16 buckets because this exact recipe calls for 16 buckets, but you don't actually need 16 buckets of refinery gas. Now this refinery gas is going to be pumped inside of a centrifuge, just like so. And it's not a very power intensive process, so you can just use a battery. And then all you need are some empty cells, 8 to get the job done. And as you can see, that is going to produce these things called LPG cells. Now, you only need one LPG cell. One chlorine cell. Throw the chlorine cell and some power. And as you can see, that's going to use the carbon dust. And that is going to use 1 LPG. Not even 1 LPG, that's going to use 1 chlorine. And that is going to make our epichlorohydrin. Now, the epichlorohydrin should be placed inside of a regular tank. But as you can see, that is an epichlorohydrin tank. And now we get to the very complicated part. You are going to need some form of HV power generation. Not a turbo steam, but a turbo diesel generator. There we go. And you are going to need an advanced chemical reactor. An HV variant. You are going to need 3 naphtha. You are going to need the epichlorohydrin, fluorine, and as you guys can see, it is now reacting. This is an HV recipe, 256 EU per tick. That's why you need these very expensive machines. And as you guys can see, that is molten polytetrafluoroethylene. And then to finalize the process, we are going to need a fluid solidifier. And you take this, and you take the hammer. There we go. Now we have a plate. And voila! Polytetrafluoroethylene plates.